Castellanos, the base runners. Infielders in at the corners, and Stott drives one to right. That's deep. That is gone. A grand slam for Stott. The brink just broke thanks to Bryson Stott's base-clearing granny.
The kid that last year struggled to hit the fastball. Went into the...
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the post-game show. Ring the bell. My goodness, what an absolute night. Like, what a night, Jay. Jay's here. He's got the plague, but he's here. The Philadelphia Phillies are on their way to the NLDS against the Atlanta Braves. It's the story that we've all wanted to see finally written, an ending here, and that's to get to the NLCS, to get to the World Series, you have to get by the Atlanta Braves. And here it is. And my God, what an absolute game. The Phillies just literally moments ago clinched the NL Wild Card, beating the Miami Marlins in 2 games, 2 straight, by a score of 7-1. First and foremost, massive big-time claps go to Aaron Nola, who pitched the absolute, hands down, the best game of the season.
Yeah.
For him, hands down. You know, he threw 88 pitches in 7 innings tonight. He didn't have a single start in the regular season of that many innings and that few pitches. He had everything working tonight. Nola went 7 strong, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 3 Ks. He went back-to-back innings where he had 2 very important ground ball in the double plays. Just a spectacular outing. And then the video we all opened up with, Bryson Stott just sent the decibel level to a very unhealthy amount at Citizens Bank Park with the second ever. The Phillies have been around since 1883, folks. Bryson Stott just hit the second grand slam in Phillies postseason history, with the first one coming way back in 2008 when Shane Victorino hit the grand slam off of CC Sabathia. So just an unbelievable evening. Jay, I'm going to finally hand it over to you. Your thoughts on this game 2 and this series as a whole?
You can't say anything less than magnificent, right? You know, Wheeler came out, pitched a gem, and Nola said, "Hold my beer," and came out and did one-upped him. You know, went 7 strong, didn't give up a run at all. Probably could have come back out for the 8th. He looked like maybe he's laboring a little bit in that 7th. He definitely threw a couple more pitches than he, has the previous few innings, but he looked like he still could have come out and kept going. So, and then the offense, what more can you say? They up and down the lineup, even with a guy like Harper, who we all thought, could really come in and, what we saw last year, really struggled these 2 games, but they didn't need him at all. So I think to watch this team, it's a great offense. And, we know what, if Wheeler and Nola are doing what they do, we have a shot to win every series. So, I expected this from Nola. Like I said at the beginning of the year, he was my Cy Young. So I really thought this is something we would see from him. But I was very satisfied. It's so good. You beat Miami, team that we've historically struggled against, and now we get to go against Atlanta. In another year, we knocked them out last year. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I'm so ready to see this series. Got tickets, so I'm pumped. I cannot wait. This team is looking very good, and they're really clicking right now. So
I agree. And, Nola quickly worked his way out of the only three difficult situations that he really faced. The runner on second with one out in the third, catches the dude stealing. What in
That's
the
beautiful.
look? I'm happy that runner was a complete buffoon for doing it, but a phenomenal recognition from Nola to catch him on a pickoff. A tying run at the plate in the fifth, double play, leadoff man in the sixth, double play. Look, he was just amazing. This was the Aaron Nola from years ago. But however, this is also the same Aaron Nola that pitched his first two starts in the postseason last year, where he was just so good. And
But
if you
after
look at
watching him this year, Chris, though, after watching him all this year, I really thought, I know they ruled that Pache a hit. I really, early, I feel like all of the season, that's the type of play that Nola starts to fall apart after it
That's true.
happens. So it's one
Yeah,
of those things to see him continue to just, get that pick off and then just continue to keep rolling. I think speaks volumes for where he is mentally right now and his confidence coming into the playoffs. And like we said, that
mhm.
last start that he pitched well. It seemed to have carried over. So I think that's people may not see it, may not have thought of that, but that is something that early in the season, I feel like he falls apart. We even saw it last year in the World Series. He gives up a little hit here, something doesn't go his way. Nola unravels, and to see him
Yeah.
really bear down and, go 7 strong after that is really impressive.
And I agree. And if we kind of now combine what we've already seen now through game one and game two, it's everything we could have dreamed of almost and more. Combined, Zach Wheeler and Nola allowed one run over 13 and 2/3 innings, just put just 10 men on base and struck out 11. So it's just wild, man. Like Nola ended the regular season with two strong starts in a row at Atlanta and then home versus Pittsburgh. He struck out 16 without a walk in those outings. It seems like he might has found something that he hasn't had. This is the first time, Jay, since April 16th through the 28th of this season that Aaron Nola strung together 3 quality starts.
Wow.
And
That's
but
pathetic.
as pathetic as that is, and we have reminded people of that since April. So I am significantly okay with all of that because of now what could happen. One, these last 3 starts, and can this carry over? Because to be honest, as important as this start was, which had significant importance, if you win the game, you move on in the postseason. His start against Atlanta in this next round will probably be his biggest start, since the World Series, since that World
Agreed.
Series game. So that's now this is the measuring stick now for me is if he's going to get back into that world of where he might make $150 million in the offseason, we got to see how he pitches against Atlanta on. If,
Yeah.
God willing, the Phillies get to another Aaron Nola start beyond Atlanta. You've been a guy that's backed Aaron Nola for a long time. How good was it? How good of a feeling for you was it to see him have that start tonight?
It's really good, but
Mhm.
I don't want to read too much into it because, like you said, we still, now we go to Atlanta, and Atlanta is a different juggernaut. They are, the best team in baseball for a reason. So I'm happy to see Nola getting his confidence back and be the type of guy that I thought he could be all season. I
Mhm.
think it is huge going into Atlanta because Atlanta is so good. So you want
Yes.
Wheeler. It's nice to see them really come out and handle a team like Miami that doesn't have, there isn't the team that, the Phillies are. They're a lesser team. They're a team you should have handled. So to see them come out and really just handle their business and take care of it in 2 games and not need that third. So, you can do whatever you want to do in game 1 in Atlanta now. It sets it up much easier going to Atlanta, another day rest. I think it's huge. Building up his confidence and even Wheeler coming in and just dominating. I think that
Mhm.
1-2 punch, having them going, having these bats hot. I think it speaks something we saw last year where the Phillies were in the wild card. The Braves came out in the divisional series, maybe a little flat. Phillies are feeling themselves.
Yeah.
it could roll over. So it's good to see them really come in with confidence. Because if Nola bombed today, I don't think many people would have confidence going into Atlanta.
No. I was going to be very, very upset if there was going to be a game 3 here. But there's not. But now you go on to a best of 5. If the series goes 5 games against the Atlanta Braves, the Phillies could use Wheeler on normal rest in games 2 and 5. Nola will be on his regular rest in game 3. What are your early thoughts? I mean, before we get to Atlanta, I don't know when game 1 is of the NLDS. I haven't heard that announced
it's
yet.
Saturday.
So okay, I thought it was Saturday, but I wasn't 100% certain, so I didn't want to say anything. So
I do research myself, so yeah,
that's good. I'm glad you actually do some research. So, an early thought process here for you heading down to Atlanta. I mean, this is what we've wanted.
Well, the fact that Nola and Wheeler, you're going to see Wheeler, but you could potentially see Wheeler twice. So you're going to have to beat, and then you're going to see Nola 3 of the 5 games. You're going to get your big dogs. It does stink that they're going to come in. Strider's going to pitch that game 1. So you hope you can get to them early. But I'm excited to see it. Last year I think the Phillies, while the Braves did clinch the division in Philly, the Phillies still have that confidence. They went in last year and really handled the Braves. And John said it
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So like we see, it's all about momentum at this point of the season. So the Braves kind of not playing, maybe being down a little bit, and the bat's not being hot, going in game 1 against Strider, I think is huge, because the Phillies right now, JT's looking good. He's hitting. Trey Turner's is really hitting really well. So the guys
again tonight.
So I'm confident going into it. I think we're going to have to I think game 1 is super crucial. I think for this team, you have to win game 1, but I'm optimistic going into this series with what I've seen from them so far.
I agree. So if we go down the lineup, the Phillies scored 7 runs on 7 hits. Obviously 4 of those coming off one mega hit by Bryson Stott. Schwarber went 1 for 4 with a ribby. Another 2-hit night for Trey Turner. Alec Bowman 1 for 4. Bryce Harper did go 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Again, like you said, JT 2 for 4 night again with a bomb. He got that scoring off real well. I mean, gosh, that woke the entire stadium up. Cassie with an 0 for 4 night, so not ideal. Stott again, that 1 for 4, but that 1 is all that mattered. Pache, man, I thought there was a bad omen in this game when he dropped that ball in left field. The fact that they gave that a double amazes me.
They don't give errors anymore. They just don't. Come on. I was sitting there watching. I saw that it gave up. I was looking at the stats because I was talking with somebody a friend of mine, Chris, like, yeah, Nola's not pitching well. I'm like, what are you talking about? The dude's giving up 1 hit, and the 1 hit was a drop fly ball from Pache. Like, it should have been there. He gave up no hit. So what are we talking here? Like, Nola went in and did what, if he wants to get paid, I think you're right. He still has the possibility to go out and prove himself. And this run right now is what he needs. So I do think Nola is going to be that key in the next series. He's got to pitch well. But yeah, it felt like early on, it did feel like they're going to score quick. And then Nola just kind of turned it around, got that pick off. And that would pretty much put the end to the Marlins.
Yeah, let's just remind the audience here that the guy that told him that Nola wasn't pitching well is the same guy who doesn't believe Clayton Kershaw is a great pitcher. So take that for what you will. But yeah, so again, this game really just kind of broke open when Bryson Stott comes up and just absolutely obliterates a grand slam to put the team up 7-0 in that 6th inning. They just simply looked like they're just a better
having
and more
fun.
Yeah, they seem to be better prepared. I'm not saying they weren't prepared last year. I mean, I think last season they were just flying by the seat of their pants into the World Series. But I feel like this season the Phillies look more prepared and more ready in all facets of baseball right now. And I, as awful as the broadcasting on ESPN has been these two games with ESPN, the only thing that I agreed with them on really was that this is probably the most dangerous baseball team to play in the postseason. And I agree. I don't think it's even close. If I'm any team in baseball, this is the last team I want to see.
If I'm any team in baseball, the last team I want to see is the Atlanta Braves.
No.
Like I get we're Philadelphia fans and we are a Philadelphia podcast, but I like to be a little objective. I would much rather be in the Braves position than our position. That team is stacked. They're number one team for a reason. They are, they're going to be a tough team. They're not somebody we can't beat, but they're played well. And I think they said it perfectly. This is going to be a heavyweight fight. I do think the winner of this series is the team that's going to make the World Series, and they probably have the best shot to win. So I think this, you have to come out of here. You want to win this series. You want to do it as quick as possible. But I do think the winner of this series takes the World Series.
Wow, that's so you don't think that the Braves are set, you think, to be a team that you're too scared, that you're too worried about getting into the World Series? You think it's Phillies or Braves?
I really think so. I just think these are the two teams. I
agree with you.
The Dodgers, I know I picked the Dodgers early on to beat the Phillies in the NLCS. But I just, watching the Braves this year, seeing how great that lineup is, really they have a lineup, we always thought all season we thought we had a great lineup, and we do. But the Braves are just, from Acuna through Olsen they have so many guys. They have 5 home run hitters this year. So they're just a super dangerous lineup. So it's going to be, we're not going to be able to make mistakes. The mistakes that we saw, I know we harped on it a little bit last night, John and I, about the early in the game, leaving the runners on today with Pache. Those are mistakes you can't have in the next series. So I think it's good that we got him out of the way now. I wanted to ask you, what is your level of concern right now with Bryce? Is it worrying you at all that he just, through these two games, he took some terrible at bats the last 2 days.
Yeah. Well,
really bad at bats.
I will say, and look, I'm not happy with his performance. I will say the dude has no luck. It seems like every at bat he had this. I'm pretty sure, because then the only chance he had against a righty, he was intentionally walked tonight. So I just feel like he's going up against lefties that were avoiding the strike zone as much as possible against him.
He got a hanging slider that he should have delivered.
Oh, he knows. If you notice when they put the camera back on, I thought he was going to shatter the bat over his kneecap.
I thought it, because I was sitting there, but yeah, I get the lefty on lefty matchups. I do understand all of that, but
if he goes over 3-4 in Game 1 against Atlanta, I'm ringing the sirens at that point, because this is now, as we get to Atlanta, this is where postseason Bryce has to start. It has to begin now, because like you said, there's no room for mistakes against the Atlanta Braves. You need, how they had in Game 1, how every Philly had a hit in that lineup. You need that almost every night against the Braves. I'm not here to win 4-3 games, against the Braves. I'll take it, but you have to flat out beat the Braves, because Soto came in tonight and gave up a run. Like, regardless of him getting the final outs, he's the reason that the shutout was lost. He's still not pitching wonderful.
It took him 16 pitches to get through that inning.
Exactly. So
I
do the Phillies offense has to click.
I do like using Kerkering there, though. You get him a little bit of experience, because I think he's going to be a guy they're going to have to rely on coming to that bullpen next series. I know they didn't even really need to use him today. I think they just wanted to get him some experience, get him out there, playoff atmosphere. I think he's going to be a guy they're going to have to rely on, because you're more than likely not going to be blown out the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in a game like,
I'll take it, but you're right.
We all will. But, like yesterday, where it got kind of dicey, you're nervous about Kimbrel, and he came in and he didn't give up. He just dominated. So he's going to be a guy I think is going to be used quite a bit next series.
I agree. And by the way, I just saw a video does your owner of your baseball team stand on top of your team's dugout after a game and throw baseballs into the crowd? I don't think so. John Middleton is just an absolute stud. I love him. He's a fanboy, just like all of us, just with a significantly deeper pockets. All right, so that's going to wrap up game 2. Or we will have an pardon me. We will have an NLDS preview probably Friday, I'm assuming. We'll do something Friday night. That is, again, now I have 2 days to digest, or basically 1 day to digest what just went on with the Phillies. We all have to take into account that the Marlins are not the Atlanta Braves. So, you got to kind of dive into this one a little bit deeper. But before we bounce out of here, Jay, how amazing was Citizens Bank Park these 2 games here? And just from a national level, how good did Philadelphia look these last 2 nights?
I think fabulous. They had to put Philly at the prime time position. And so they knew. And I think early in the game, I was a little disappointed. I thought the crowd was a little lackluster in the beginning. And I think it has, regardless of what, I think it's because of Nola. Guys, like, what are we doing here? Like, but they picked it up. When this place is rocking, we got to live through it, in those, 08 through 11, 12, that it's an atmosphere. And even the broadcaster said it, this is an atmosphere like no other. They're passionate crowd base. They're going to let you know what's going on. We're booing, Josh Bell. Josh Bell's a nobody, but he's getting ripped because he had a couple of hits against us. So they're going to come, they're going to bring the passion next series. So I really think, you got to take at least one of those home games. And in Atlanta, if you could do that and you come back to Philly, this crowd's going to be raucous. I can't wait. I cannot wait for that series.
I agree. And it is official, by the way. Game 1 against the Atlanta Braves will be Saturday.
Yes. Game 2 will be Monday as well.
Yeah, smart of Major League Baseball not to have a game on Sunday to compete with the NFL. So kudos to them for that. So, by the way, the comments are just unbearable.
Pull the plug. This is their.
All right. So Saturday. Who starts game 1 there for the Phillies? You think, Jay?
I'd like to see Ranger. I really think it should be Ranger. I don't want to see T1. I don't want to see him go. I have more faith in Ranger. So if you can get Ranger going, game 2 is Monday. So like, I think you said that's going to be a Wheeler start. So if you can go there, I don't know who goes game 4. But if you have 1, 2, 3 set, I really think it should be Ranger. He's earned it. He's especially with his play last season. He has to be that number 1 guy.
I agree. And as we get to the end here, 11 more wins, Jay. We're down to 11 more wins. And I just want to thank everybody who has continuously over the past 48 hours just nonstop downloading us on our from the podcast point of view. Thank you to all the views on YouTube and on our Twitter and Facebook if you see us there. Anywhere. We really appreciate it. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that like button, hit subscribe, help us out. Head over to manscaped.com right now and use our code baseball20 for 20% off and free shipping on your order. And head over to SeatGeek. Again, you're looking for NLDS tickets. SeatGeek.com is there to help you, and we're here to save you some money. Use our code on the bump for $20 off your very first ticket purchase, and that helps out the show. Thank you guys again so much for hanging around with us. The Phillies rang the bell 2 nights in a row, and now they're off to the NLDS. I'm Chris Francisco. That's Jason Kent. And we'll catch you guys down the road. Looking forward to our Friday preview show. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.